And we will begin, as always, with Read It and Sweep. There were no opportunities over the weekend. I take that back. There were two, neither of which are still alive. Both of the New York clubs, the Mets and the Yankees, have 4-game wraparound sets that finished today. But the three sweeps, we'll say three, that happened over the weekend. Dodgers sweeping the Red Sox, Nats sweeping the Reds, and the Royals sweeping the White Sox, with the Twins taking 2 of 2 from Minnesota. For some reason, they didn't play on Friday. If someone can explain that to me, please do. But we will begin with the sexy one. The Dodgers against the Red Sox in the Connor Wong Bowl. These two teams linked forever in baseball history for two of the most significant, largest trades of the 21st century. First, the Adrian Gonzalez massive salary dump, and then, of course, Mookie Betts heading west. And we got a very interesting, compelling, close series between two quality baseball teams, but the Dodgers outlast the Red Sox in all three of these games.
Yeah, I mean, these were some quality ball games. We have a late Freddie Freeman grand slam in the bottom of the 8th to take the win on Friday. We have a kind of, oh no, are we about to play 18 innings again game on Saturday, where the Dodgers eventually outlast the Red Sox. And then on Sunday, it's just kind of a bludgeoning. The Dodgers, with Shohei Ohtani nearly hitting a ball out of the stadium, they kind of took care of business on that one. Evan Phillips having some struggles for the Dodgers. That's been a little bit strange. Kenley Jansen blew it on Saturday against Kike. But to your point, though, this is the Connor Wong Bowl, right? Mookie's not playing. Alex Verdugo's on the Yankees, and Jeter Downs is, I don't know where Jeter Downs is. So Connor Wong's there, though. He's hanging out. He is on the Red Sox, having a nice season, and I'm sure that all of Dodger Stadium was taking note of his return. But yeah, this was a nice little statement series here for the Dodgers of Los Angeles. We talked before the break how they have been looking so underwhelming. I made the case that they are just very injured. They are about to get less injured as they are getting Clayton Kershaw and Tyler Glasnow back this week. So that's exciting. Yamamoto, a little bit less clear when he is returning, but they are getting healthier, and we are seeing a version of them where it's like, oh yeah, no, this is still the Dodgers.
And this is what I wanted to see. Some zip, some fizz. They were a flat soda for about a month and a half before the All-Star break. And when you are the Los Angeles Dodgers and you are this star-studded juggernaut of baseball talent, you are expected, perhaps unfairly, to inspire more often than not, to create this idea for the fans and in your opponents that you will win the baseball game, that the end of the story at the end of the night is you in the win column, and you will get there somehow, some way. And I think at points before the break, the Dodgers didn't convey that type of energy, whereas this past weekend was certainly that. And for so many times over the last 12 years during this run, that has been a regular season feeling for the Los Angeles Dodgers, right? It's like, oh, Will Smith is going to hit a double in the 8th, and then, right, like it builds towards that. These games on Friday and Saturday, just that swing that Freddie had is the type of swing where if we look back on it, it's like that was a game-changing, season-altering moment.
But I would also say that, Freddie being awesome and Shohei being awesome, you're baking that in. But when they're getting big hits from Kike and Gavin Lux, whose OPSs are 600 or lower, now they kind of feeling themselves a little bit more, because that's what has obviously been lacking over the first part of this season.
I would say for the Red Sox, very quickly, not a problem. They were in these first two games. They're a good team. They will beat worse teams as the season goes forward. I think they'll be in the mix. Losing all three in LA just kind of stinks, but I don't think the sky's falling here, if that makes sense. A couple other things I want to harp on. Gavin Stone, starting pitcher for the Dodgers, has been so spectacular this year, so solid. He has the second most innings on the team as a rookie, and he's just giving them a level of stability that they really need. He's just a very interesting, 25 years old. He's got a 125 ERA plus. He's started 18 games. He's taken the ball every single time through. got a 3.19 ERA. He's been the most stable member of this rotation, just up there with Tyler Glass now. So he was outstanding on Friday. And then I want to give Kike Hernandez some shine on Saturday. This was on the day that he reached 10 years of service time against his former ball club. And he hits a game-tying home run in the ninth and another game-tying hit in extra innings. For a player like that who, he is entertainment no matter what, that's a good little storyline.
Yeah, and I would just say, I'm glad you mentioned Stone. They've collected these pitching prospects, kind of developed them over the past few years, only to end up kind of bringing in these more expensive guys on top of them, whether it's Yamamoto, whether it's Glass now. I mean, even Paxton, bring him in free agency, that it was never always obvious who they really believed in of that group. And ultimately with all the injuries that they finally had to just say, and I remember being at Dodgers camp in spring training and kind of asking around, like, all right, like of this group, this large pile of guys who have succeeded in the upper minors, like who are we actually counting on? And Stone was the answer. And so they clearly have been right about that. I know Landon Knack's been pretty solid also, but they've kind of emerged. But it's pretty wild, right? I think all the excitement was around Bobby Miller, and he's in AAA right now. So credits to Gavin Stone. He's been a huge deal for them. And then we have to mention Kershaw, right? I mean, I got to be honest. I feel like this is faster than I kind of expected. It seemed like the rehab has gone pretty well. He's already made a few minor league appearances. But I'm going to keep my expectations pretty low for what Kershaw is going to be. And I think too that it's like they also need him right now, right? I think there's maybe a version where he takes a little bit more time to come back if their whole rotation was pitching well and healthy. But right now they need starters, and he's clearly at least ready to give it a go. So I'm excited to see what it looks like. I'm a little nervous to see what it looks like, to be honest. But at least he's, made some minor league appearances and gotten some, because if he had just gone out there with no minor league appearances and we were just like, yeah, he's fine, I would have been very, very anxious about that. But I'm very curious to see what it looks like on Thursday.
Every additional Clayton Kershaw return every offseason when he's thinking about retirement, Texas Rangers, LA Dodgers, every time he comes back to the Dodgers, inevitably, it heightens the enjoyment of that experience, because the closer he gets to retirement, the more it dawns on me how special it is to watch him in Dodger Blue, in that stadium, in that environment, in that park where he's created so many memories over the last, decade and a half. And so I will be locked in on Thursday watching this one. I'm very excited to see Clayton Kershaw back on the bump.